Hi guys, it's Jess here again. I'm Jessica AV on YouTube and Lilypod and Sweetpea is my blog. So the last time that I spoke to you guys, I was unboxing a load of breastfeeding products that I'd been sent from Lancino. I was still pregnant, I think I was like 8.5 months. Well now I have my 8-week-old who is currently on my boob, so it's very fitting. And I thought I would just do a little update on how the first 2 months of breastfeeding have gone. So from the first time that we ever fed in hospital, within minutes of him being born, he latched on straight away. You could hear him sucking, you could hear him gulping, so I knew that my milk supply was there, the colostrum, and I knew that he was getting it fine. But the one thing that I noticed straight away was I had the same pain that I had when I was breastfeeding my son Jasper, who's now 2.5. With him, we had all sorts of troubles, which I'll get into in another video, but he had tongue tie, I ended up having mastitis, and we both ended up having thrush through the antibiotics, and I managed to do about 2.5 to 3 months of feeding with him before I stopped because it was just too painful. And yeah, from my first feed, I had that with Jensen, which it freaked me out and it made me more determined to get the help while I was in hospital. So every time that I was due to feed, I would ask a midwife to sit with me and I would ask them to look at my latch. Although they were brilliant and everyone in the first kind of week of breastfeeding, everyone that I saw, whether it was a doctor, a health visitor, a midwife, a nurse, they would all say, well, his latch is perfect and, weight-wise, he only lost 5%, I think it was, and then he put on quite a lot. So they're really happy with how much he was getting. My nipples looked fine, all the boxes were ticked. So everyone just kept saying, well, no, he's doing it fine, so, that's it. But I just kept thinking, yeah, but I'm in pain, so it's not okay. And you'll have kind of two conflicting views when you're breastfeeding. A lot of people will say to you, it's not meant to hurt. So if it does hurt, something is wrong. Even if your latch is perfect, they're putting on weight. If it's hurting, it's not meant to hurt, which I do agree with, and it made me more determined to find out exactly what was going on. But then on the flip side, people say, of course it's gonna hurt. You've got someone sucking on your nipple, an area that normally, is just covered up by a bra. It's like someone, continuously rubbing the same part of skin. Eventually you're gonna, get a blister, it's gonna get tender, it's gonna get sore. So on that side, I then kind of thought, oh, well, maybe it is okay. And honestly, people's opinions are just so conflicting. So you just need to take from it what you think is right and what works for you. So anyway, on day 3, my milk came in, and it came in. My boobs were like melons, they were rock hard. He was choking on the milk. He would literally have a few gulps and then he'd start coughing and spluttering and it was dribbling out of his mouth. So I knew that my milk supply was absolutely fine. Like I said, he was putting on weight fine, so that wasn't an issue. But on day 5, I started to get flu-like symptoms. I just felt really shivery. My boobs were quite hot to touch and I had a red patch on one of them, just on the skin. And luckily I was seeing the health visitor that day, and straight away she said, yeah, you've got mastitis. Like, no doubt about it. I started on antibiotics, which kicked in after the first 2 days. If you don't know, mastitis is an infection in your boob from breastfeeding, and it's usually where the milk ducts have gotten blocked. But again, I will do another video in more detail about that. But yeah, after 2 days, the flu-like symptoms went, the redness went down. What she also told me to do was express as much milk as I could off of each boob, then feed off of each boob, just so that I was completely draining them, so anything that was blocked was completely gone, and then I could kind of start from scratch. So for this, I used my Lancino hand pump, and it was really, really easy. I expressed a whole bottle of milk off one boob, and then I put him on there, and he still had a really good feed, because once I'd expressed the milk, I said, oh, I don't think there's enough milk left in there, and she was like, you'd be surprised. So I put him on the boob, and he had a really good feed, fell asleep, and then my boob was just back to normal. It wasn't engorged, it wasn't hot or hard or tender. And then I did the same on the next boob, and yeah, my boobs were back to normal, so that was brilliant. Another thing that really helped when my boobs were tender was the Therapel. Now, because I had him in the summer and the weather was quite hot, I put the Therapel pad in the freezer so it was nice and cold, but you can also put it in the microwave to heat it. It just kind of depends on what kind of pain relief you like, but yeah, I'm sure in the winter I would want something warm and cozy for my boobs, but yeah, at this point I was hot and sweaty, and when you're breastfeeding you get sweaty anyway, and he's like a hot water bottle, so I just wanted something cold on them just to kind of, just relieve that pain. What we then figured out after my boobs weren't engorged anymore and they just weren't swollen was that his latch wasn't actually that good. So even though it looked perfect from the outside, on the inside the nipple wasn't going farther back in his mouth. So instead of going back to the soft palate, which is the roof of their mouth, it was staying on the hard palate. And yeah, that was what was causing it to hurt, because it was literally just his hard gums going on it. Oh, it makes me cringe now. So the health visitor said just hook him off and put him on again. She said if you need to do it 20 times, it doesn't matter, because yes, it's frustrating for you and it's frustrating for them because they're just trying to feed, but it's better than having long-term latch issues. So yeah, she said a little bit of pain now and a little bit of frustration and hard work is going to have such good benefits long-term. So I would cut my boob using like a C shape like this, and kind of, it's really hard to describe, but I would like push my boob back a little bit, which would make the nipple more triangle-y. I really don't know how to describe it. And then when his mouth opens, put it in like quickly and as far back as possible without making him gag, so that when his mouth closes, it closes with as much of the nipple in his mouth. As soon as I did that and I got the latch perfect, I had a pain-free feed, like completely pain-free. And then I knew that, yeah, there isn't long-term damage from feeding Jasper last time, and you know, there isn't something wrong with my boobs. It is literally just that I wasn't doing the latch right. So yeah, I just spent a lot more time focusing on the latch, using the lanolin nipple cream. I would use it before feeds, after feeds, because you can put it on your boobs and then put them on straight away, and it's absolutely fine for them to ingest. So yeah, I would literally slather that on all the time, and I've not had any problems since. But yeah, we're now 8 weeks in. We did have a phase where we were going every 4 hours, which was wonderful, but then he started having growth spurts and cluster feeding, and now it's, yeah, we're just feeding on demand as and when he wants. So we could go, you know, 3 hours, we could go 6 hours, we could go hourly. It really does vary with him at the moment, but I'm just enjoying the newborn snuggles, and yeah, as long as I get 6-hour breaks every so often, I'm happy. He has started to comfort suck lately, which is a little bit frustrating, and it has been hard work on my boobs. So I've just made sure that I'm putting the nipple cream on as much as possible, and yeah, just trying to make sure that when he is feeding, he's having a really good feed and really filling up, rather than, you know, sometimes he'll come off the boob and I think, oh, I'll just lay him down, even if I know that he hasn't had enough, because I want a break. But now I've started to try and wake him up, put him back on the boob. So he has his main course, he goes back for a second course, and then when he finishes that, I try and keep him awake, put him on the other side so he can have dessert and really, really fill him up, in the hope that it will make him go longer each time. So that's it, that's my first 2 months of breastfeeding. I hope it wasn't too rambly, it seemed like it was, so I'll try and condense it down a little bit. If you've got any tips or advice or any questions about the products that I've mentioned, or just anything about breastfeeding in general, then please do leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, head over to my channel to say hello as well, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys, bye!